Good afternoon, class. Today we'll be talking about simplifying fractions. Now, when we're going through the steps of simplifying fractions, there are three things that we need to keep in mind. One, we need to ask ourselves if the number in the numerator and the number in the denominator have another number in common between the two that is something other than 1. Then, if they do, we need to divide the numerator and the denominator by the same number that is the lowest common factor. And if you can't always find the lowest common factor, you can use smaller numbers, and then that allows you to repeat it as many times as possible in order to find the simplest fraction. So, as you can see, we have an example here of 32 over 36. Now, just seeing the fact that these are two even numbers, at the bare minimum, we should be able to divide both of these numbers by 2. But if we want to see if they have another number in common besides 1 and 2, we can list out the factors of 32 and 36. Now, when I say list out factors, what I'm saying is we need to determine what two numbers multiply together to be either one of these numbers. So, for example, when you're trying to find the factors of 32, you can determine what numbers multiplied together will be 32. So we know that if we multiply 1 times 32, that's going to result in 32. We also know that 2 times 16 also makes 32. And then the last way that we can multiply to get 32 would be 4 times 8. So as you can see, I said it in a different order in which they're listed. It's like for me, I like to figure out what the common factors or what the multiples are to make the number that I'm interested in. And then I put them in arranging order from smallest to largest. It makes it easier to find what number the two numbers have in common. So I do the same thing for 36. 1 times 36 makes 36. 2 times 18 also does. 3 times 12 does. 4 times 9 is. And we have this 6 that's left over. And since it kind of looks like it's just out there, we might be wondering why is that the case. But if I multiply 6 by itself, that results in 36. So it's not just a random number there. So again, I list them in order from smallest to largest, and therefore I can see the numbers that make up 32 and the numbers that make up 36. And I can go through the lists of both numbers and determine which one of the numbers is the biggest that they have in common. As you can see, the biggest number that they have in common is 4. So this is what we call the least common factor. So since we determined that 32 and 36 have a 4 in common, we divide the numerator and denominator both by that 4 in order to get the smallest fraction that we can have, also known as simplifying the fraction. So if I do 32 divided by 4, I get 8. And if I do 36 divided by 4, I get 9. So it results in the fraction of 8 over 9. 8 over 9 is as simplified as it can get, so our final answer just stays as 8 over 9.